Say hello to the ROG Strix SCAR 18 from ASUS, which is basically the most powerful, amazing gaming laptop you can probably buy in 2024. And there's other equivalents, of course, but this is the flagship laptop for ASUS, for ROG program, and it is fantastic. Listen to this. So I'm going to rattle off some specs just to get this out of the way, but don't drink anything right now. I don't want you to spit any water out. It's about $4,000 MSRP. I've seen some deals here and there. Very, very expensive, but very, very top of the line. So it's got a 2.5K mini LED screen, 18-inch display. 18-inch mini LED display, Dolby Vision HDR, and the HDR peaks out at about 1100 nits. On regular HDR, a little over 700 nits. Standard definition, just over 500. Brightness is fine. Core i9 processor, 14900X, the high performance model. It's got some serious power and up to 175 watts TDP. So that means it's good. It's got a 4090. You can get it a 4080 model. Like if you want to save some money, you can get a 4080 model. This is the fully maxed out one. Like maximum, 32 gigs of DDR5, Core i9, 4090 with 16 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive. And here's the nice thing. You get the M2 drive, you get the 2 terabyte. If you get the 4090, it comes with the 2 terabyte. If you buy the 4080 model, it comes with the 1 terabyte from what I know. And it's got this beautiful mini LED screen with like 2200, over 2000 dimming zones. What does that mean? That means when you're looking at the screen, it's not the same as an OLED. Like in an OLED, each individual LED can be controlled, the lighting and all that stuff. But when it comes to a mini LED, it's a bunch of tiny, tiny little LED panels put together. So in this big, massive screen, there's over 2,000 dimming zones. So that means going to be basically no blooming. It's going to be great. Get great representations for blacks and low light and colors. And it just looks great for gaming. Like it's fantastic. And just to get this out of the way, it has a 90 watt hour battery, which is basically that's what you're going to see with a lot of laptops, because I believe that might be the upper limit for what you can actually take on a plane. So you can take this on a plane. That's no problem. Running Windows 11 Pro. So from like a software perspective, you're good. Not going to have any compatibility issues. Play your little hearts out, like to your heart's desire. Like play whatever you want. Download it, run it on the Macs, play whatever you want. You'll enjoy it. And don't even ask me about the battery life for playing games, because it's not good. Here's the thing. Whenever it comes to a laptop like this, like if you're not going to use it for gaming, like if you're using it on a battery, that's fine. Like you can get pretty decent performance out of it if you're just doing Microsoft Word, browsing the internet. You know, you got the screen and the brightness and the power turned on, like balance mode or low energy mode, and you just want to watch some videos on YouTube or whatever. That's fine. This laptop should not be used for gaming if you're not having it plugged in. It's got a very big power supply with a very long cord, and that's actually something that's really nice, because sometimes it's a giant pain in the butt when it comes to gaming laptops. You're like, oh, here's this 4-foot cord. You need to be able to reach out and play some places, right? So having a super long cord is good. And listen to this. I don't want to scare you off too much. The weight on this thing is like 6.83 pounds, I believe. Like it's a heavy boy. Like it's chunky. Like this is a heavy laptop. I even hesitate calling it a laptop, because very largely this won't be sitting in your lap. And I think it's for a very niche person. If you're a professional mobile game, like if you game professionally, of course, like I guess maybe you would take your tower places with you. But if you're in a position where maybe you live in a studio apartment, whether you just want something that's epic gameplay anywhere you go, if you travel a lot and you like to play games, I think there's a limited subset of folks for this. Because if you're gonna buy something for gaming at home, it's gonna be a desktop. Like you can get an amazing desktop for $4,000. You can get an insane desktop for $4,000, right? So that's the thing. This is like a mobile gaming platform. It's more like, I think, what's the word? It's like a workstation. It's like a gaming workstation. You set it up somewhere, and you don't have to worry about a tower. You don't have to worry about a big monitor. You don't have to worry about all this other stuff. You've got limited space, travel a lot. Probably going to be your cup of tea, maybe up your alley, and you're going to spend some significant coinage on it. But man, this thing's awesome. When ASUS sent this out to me, and I'm like, you got RGB everywhere. It's got a metal lid, by the way. The screen's metal. The body's plastic. It's got some cool plastic designing on it. They spent a lot of effort on the details. It's got RGBs out the wazoo, RGB on the screen or on the back of the lid, on the front, under the keys. RGB is great. We love RGB. So one other thing, let's talk about the fan speed and the noise real quick. I got a quick video. Let's do a demonstration and see what the fan noise is like, which is actually, I think, pretty tolerable considering the power you get out of this. So let's hear it. This is with the fans on maximum. This is on the turbo profile with the fans at 100%. And you can see also it's got the nice RGBs back here. Got the RGB on the back of the screen there. So in case you're curious what kind of fan noise you'll have to deal with playing, high-end stuff with the fans kicking, this is it. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of air production, but the overall sound, I don't think it's that bad. All right, so there's the sound test. Let me know in the comments you think it's too big, too loud, too noisy, or if you think it's all right. I know it's hard to translate that stuff over to a video into reality, but I tried. 720p webcam, which webcam's okay. I mean, you can see the demo here. This is with the lighting in my kitchen. It's okay. It's one of those things where you're probably not buying this for its video camera capabilities. There's no IR sensors, no Windows Hello. There's no fingerprint scanner for biometrics. So I mean, most fingerprint scanners on laptops aren't the greatest, but for this price tag, you would think maybe they would throw it in there, but they didn't. It has Bluetooth 5.3, Wi-Fi 6E, and it has a whole sundry of other different connectors. So whenever it comes to the connections, you've got plenty of stuff. You got a headphone jack, great for gaming. You've got your HDMI 2.1, two USB 3.2 Type A's, data speed up to 10 gigabits per second, one USB Type C 3.2, and support for DisplayPort, which is nice. And you've got a 2.5 gigabit LAN port and one threadable port, which supports with support for DisplayPort, which is nice, and G-Sync up to 40 gigabits per second. So it's got all the stuff you could need, and I like how it's lined out because it's got the two USB Type A's on one side, the right side by itself, and then on the left side you got all the other stuff where the power plugs in, the USB Type C is the HDMI, the power port, all that stuff. So I think it's lined out pretty well. Speakers are okay. I wish they were a little bit better for the price tag. It's, to me, feels like a $4,000 laptop with like $2,000 laptop speakers, which there's only so much you can do with laptop speakers, right? And ultimately, you're going to be playing this with headphones, so that's why I don't really ding it too much. It's one of those things where you turn it on and I'm like, that's decent, could be better, but even on my expensive gaming desktop back home, like right here at my house, I play with a headset, gaming earbuds, whatever. So that's mostly what people are going to use them for. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Here's a sound test for the SCAR 18. This is with the sound on maximum, and this is with Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, so you can get a good feel for it. Couple other things. Super powerful. Again, 14 Gen i9. It's got the cooling. It's three different cooling fans inside of here. So it's got tri-fan cooling, liquid metal on the GPU and the CPU, which is not something that you see very often. So that's something that's really nice. And it's got Optimus. It's even got a 240 hertz refresh rate display, which is crazy. Mini LED, 2.5K resolution, 240 hertz, 3 millisecond response time. Perfect for gaming. It looks beautiful. And I know some people are like, why is there no OLED? Well, OLED is more subject to screen burn-in, which is something you don't want. And when you're playing a lot of games, especially long-term, you see a lot of like the little HUD icons and things that you don't normally think about. Long-term, mini LED is perfectly fine. It's very, very good. The dimming, the blacks, the colors, the brightness is better than OLED. And it's nice because it's got a matte screen. It's not touch. You can't touch anything on it. So don't be putting your grubby, greasy fingers on the screen. But yes, it is matte finish, so that means it's going to be better. It's not going to be as bright and reflective when you have light shining on it and things like that. So I think it's a very good, ideal screen for gaming. Works out great, and this 18-inch screen is massive. Like, it is so big. I took this thing out of the box. I'm like, Jeebus, like this is insane, right? So this is like the max everything, all out crazy gaming laptop. Of course, it's got the Armory crate. It's got all the customizable, the custom buttons up on the dashboard of the keyboard and all that stuff. So there's plenty of stuff to do there. All the controls at your fingertips, RGB, the mouse pad, or the trackpad, I'm sorry, works perfectly good too. I think it's nice, good quality. Here you can see the clickiness. So Yeah, it's not super loud clicky. I think it's an acceptable level of clicky. The keys are nice, good for gaming. It's not mechanical. That's okay. The switches on it, I mean, it's fine, right? There's not mechanical, there's no switches, but it is a really good keyboard. Ideally, if you're going to play on it, you're going to use that. Of course, you can always connect an external keyboard if you want to, connect an external mouse, connect the controller, whatever you need to do for your gaming setup, however you play games, right? So overall, I really enjoyed it. Great experience. There is nothing that I've thrown at this that it doesn't handle with flying colors. I mean, you can do whatever you stinking want with it. That's the thing. If you're spending this much money on a laptop, you can max pretty much, I think you can max everything out. There's nothing that I tested out that you max it out. You've got ray tracing and all that stuff. That 16 gigs of RAM is huge. 32 gigs of DDR5. You can expand that, or you can upgrade it to 64, and it's even got an extra spot for more storage, but 2 terabytes is really nice. Having 1 terabyte, you can install kind of the things that you want, but with 2, you don't really have to worry about it. Like the day you get it, you can just go on a download and install spree and put whatever the heck you want on it, and then maybe worry about it later. Like for me, 2 terabytes, perfectly fine. I can manage with that for a long time. So overall, great experience. The heat is not bad. Even my experience with it when it gets really into gaming, like play some really intense stuff, the top part just above the keyboard does get warm to hot, but not hot enough to burn you like some other ones. Like I messed around with like the Zephyrus before, and I thought it was going to melt my fingertips off. So there's that, but nice contrast because the lower part of the space around the keyboard and everything stays really remarkably cool. The cooling in this is excellent. Excellent cooling. Good job there, ASUS. Y'all did a fantastic job with the overall cooling. So that's about all I got when it comes to my review of the SCAR 18. You get what you pay for, and what you get for what you pay for is fantastic. Like it's up there, but the thing is, you got to pay for it. So should you get a $2,000 laptop? Should you get the $4,000 laptop? Like that's something that you're gonna have to decide on, because of course you could always get a 1080p laptop. You could buy a Zephyrus, you get a G series, you can get like all these other different options and save some money, but it depends on what you're going for. If you just want casual gaming on the go, I wouldn't recommend buying this because it's so expensive. If you got the money, YOLO, buy whatever the heck you want. But like, I can't even fit this in my backpack. I went on a trip recently to China and Japan. I'm like, let me take this with me, and I'll play it while I'm gone, and it won't even fit in my normal like big backpack. You got to get a special backpack for this. So yeah, I mean, there are certain things that has to go along with it where you got to make some compromises. But if you're in it to win it, and this is what you want, I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. This is excellent performance, top tier, high build quality, excellent gaming performance. The 240 hertz refresh rate, super nice, super smooth, especially because it has VSync, so you can sync up the refresh rate and your FPS, so that way you get the best gaming experience possible, no tearing. And what else? Bluetooth 5.3, and yeah, everything you could ask for. Like, ASUS did a great job with this laptop. Again, it's crazy expensive, but it's a crazy good time. And the mini LED is super nice when it comes to gaming. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.